So my final impressions of as I beat the short campaign victory with Settra is that the Tomb Kings are very, very powerful, and the expansion is worth it. I beat it on turn 193. It was a lot of fun. Settra is really powerful. He has a public order thing which really counteracts a lot of the negatives that you play on like harder difficulties. I think I made a few mistakes the way I think the developers wanted me to play it. They really want you to take over the other Tomb Kings, I think, first, but I like to ally with my own factions and trade with them and then try to assimilate them, but I had problems assimilating this last Tomb King guy who kind of just held out. I think there's a lot of interesting components to the Tomb King stuff here. I think that playing Archon the Black would be really fun, as you have the Black Pyramid of Nagash. That's kind of like your main quest idea. If you want to play with some more necromancy, and maybe he has like a different quest involved with him. Overall, I pretty much stomped the computer. The Tomb Kings, they're really powerful because they have no unit upkeep, which makes them much more different than most armies, where it's really difficult to build and micromanage, multiple armies, and hard to build a lot of money income. They're only limited by building. If I show you my buildings here, like on basically this, some of the other rudimentary settlements, where this would be, in most other games, you would just have, instead of military units built there, you actually supplement a military structure, like a tier 3 military structure in here, rather than an infrastructure building, say with the normal army. But the trade-off is like your units have no upkeep, and you can build just tons of armies. Like I have 8 armies right now, and I have 3 that are apparently, I have 3 on the orcs that basically invade any settlement. So like even the strongest garrison can't be able to hold it out. I can just auto-resolve it. I had a lot of really close battles. The battles I had close with was where the computer ambushed me when I had a few armies around. But other than that, it was actually not a lot of challenge. There was one time, though, actually attacking Archon the Black was pretty challenging. Another army had spawned here, which was really powerful, like 2 dragons. And that was a pretty challenging battle. So there has been some challenging battles, but there was never a time with the Tomb Kings with Settra I felt like, oh, I'm on the ropes, like I'm really hurting and I feel like the game is slipping away, or I'm kind of at a stalemate. I was always really progressing with these guys and really able to keep pushing forward and forward. So I kind of started the game. You start in Khemri here, and what I did originally is try to ally with these guys right here, which was the orcs, the Skaven, and so forth. And I went after Bretonnia, Archon the Black, and I tried to secure this whole peninsula area. Then I pushed back around. I pushed in through the islands back through here, fighting off all the lizardmen, and it was really not that challenging. The lizardmen had not united yet, this whole territorial front. And there was some other stray things. I, of course, came in and destroyed all the dwarves through here. And by that time, the game had just sort of spun out of control, I think, for the computer. It was really hard for them to catch. Also, Settra has a really great starting position. Like, this is really nice to defend. It's not like you're smack dab in the middle of the map. It's hard to get peninsula control. Like, you don't have to worry about stuff attacking you from the bottom here. The Chaos invaded, and they just sent a ship here, and then they just left immediately. Like, they didn't even attack anything, because every one of my places has a fortification or has walls or whatever, right? So it has a military walls and garrison increase. Every single one of my territories has that. So every time the computer would have to attack through here, if they're just like a random enemy that spawns. One thing I kind of messed up maybe on is getting the Black Books of Nagash. These are very powerful books. Like every time I take over a territory, it spawns a sandstorm. So if any other units are in that region, they start to suffer attrition. So I only have 2 of the 8 books. There's these roaming armies that are really powerful that you can destroy that have these books of Nagash, or strategic points like Karazhan 8 Peaks up here. You can see these little glowing icons. This symbolizes that there's a book of Nagash here, and I'd have to go up and take it over. And scattered throughout the whole world, there's rogue armies or strategic points which have these very powerful artifacts that assist in the Tomb Kings. Overall, a very fun experience. this was the first short campaign I actually completed, so I had so much fun doing it. I auto-resolved a lot of battles. You can also see Settra's quest battles in here. The second one was really challenging to get his sword, but the first one was not as challenging. I just waited too long to do it. So don't be afraid to really push your boundaries with them, and have a lot of fun. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you in the next chapter.